Hello, YouTube divers. This is Water Dive 122, and I want to welcome you all to another episode of Magic Metal Mondays. Today, we're going to be doing another album review. Today, we're going to be talking about a greatest hits album that was released in 2023 by an alter ego band called Old Gods of Asgard. So, Old Gods of Asgard are the alternate ego band of the Finnish indie rock slash pop rock slash alternative rock band Poets of the Fall. And yes, we've talked about Poets of Fall pretty recently. I did a whole album ranking of theirs. I'm a fan of a lot of the stuff they've done over the years. I think that their lead singer and mastermind, Marco Soristo, is a fantastic lyricist and in of its own self a very good vocalist. And also the guitar duo of Olli Tukienen and Jaakko Makinen are some of the best guitar duos of all time. And of course, the absolutely amazing rhythm section of Johnny Snellman, Markus Karlonen, and Jari Salminen. Both of them are just really great. I mean, all three of them are just really great musicians in their own right. Yeah, Poets of the Fall is just a really fantastic band. But Old Gods of Asgard are basically their alter ego band that are a part of the Remedy Games Entertainment Alan Wake's Nightmare video game series, which I was actually told that a lot of the songs from Poets of the Fall have been made as soundtracks to this video game series, as a lot of people grew up listening to Poets of the Fall through these soundtracks while playing these video games. And Old Gods of Asgard was basically canonically around since the 1970s, basically when all of these band members were born. And I was told that the creator of the Remedy Games Entertainment Alan Wake's Nightmare series is a childhood friend of Marco Soristo, which explains how Poets of the Fall were really able to write and record and release soundtracks for these video games. And if you remember from my Poets of the Fall ranking, I actually talked about one of these songs, the Happy Song, which is the closing number off of their Temple of Thought album, and I absolutely hated that song. Like, I went to town on that particular song because it was just so repetitive, so cringeworthy, and just so annoying at the same time. And I just could not believe what I was hearing. That was the only song by Poets of the Fall that I legitimately skipped because I just hated it that much. And so, honestly, I was a little bit skeptical going into Rebirth because I actually, for a little bit, thought that some of the qualities from that we got on the Happy Song were going to apply here to this album, but thankfully they did not. Because Rebirth is a fantastic album, and we're gonna get to that right now. So here we go. So the opening track is basically an intro track. It's called "The Skald Awakens," and it is a really good intro piece. This really sets up the mood for the epic ride that this album is going to deliver us. And, I love intros. Me listening to a lot of power metal records. Like, I listen to, bands like Helloween and Edguy and Angra and frickin' Hammerfall, Sonata Arctica, etc. Savatage as well. They all have great intros and interludes that make the album really atmospheric, and it just builds up the tension to what this album is going to give us, and I absolutely love it. So Yeah, The Skull Awakens, fantastic intro. And then after that, it immediately kicks in to my favorite song on the album, and currently speaking, my favorite song that Poets of the Fall has done under the Old Gods of Asgard name, Dark Ocean Summoning. This song is just epic, bad to the bone, and just a freaking awesome song. What a way to kickstart a record. What a way to kickstart a record. What can I say? Easily a top 10 song that Marco and the boys have made over the years. I'd probably say this is one of their best songs since The Ultimate Fling, which was off of the Poets of the Fall album, Revolution Roulette, which is my favorite album from them. And that particular song in general is my favorite song from Poets of the Fall. So, there you go. But yeah, Dark Ocean Summoning, a fantastic power metal song. And then that immediately follows with my second favorite song on the record, Children of the Elder God. This song has one of the tastiest riffs I have ever heard in any kind of hard rock song. This song is just gushing with epicness, kind of like Dark Ocean Summoning. I mean, it's written really well, it's performed really well, it is just executed masterfully. What more can I say? And then we have the first ballad on the album. Now, over the years, Marco and the boys have made plenty of great ballads. Most notably, Given and Denied from Twilight Theater, as well as Where Do We Draw the Line from Revolution Roulette. And even the softer sides of the Carnival of Rush title track, and even Kamikaze Love from I think it was off of Temple of Thought or Jealous Gods, somewhere around there. But needless to say, The Poet and the Muse is another fantastic ballad from Marco and the boys. It's just so beautiful. And then next up we have Balance Slays the Demon. This is one of two songs on the album that also features an accompanying music video. And, you know, Marco and the boys are no strangers to putting out fantastic music videos. I mean, just look at the music video for Requiem for My Harley Quinn, which was released off of Poets of the Fall's latest album, Ghostlight. But I mean, Balance Slays the Demon is just a fantastic song. What more can I say? I believe this is also another one of the songs that Marco and the boys like to play at their gigs, along with another song that we're going to get to in a little bit. But, I mean, yeah, Balance Slays the Demon is just a fantastic number. And it's another one of my favorite songs on the record. And then we get to Anger's Remorse. Now, I really like this song, but it is a little bit more on the weaker side of things. I mean, it's a fantastic number, don't get me wrong, but what we've heard so far, it just kind of falls flat for me. I mean, Poets of the Fall are no strangers to, talk about emotion and talk about, feelings and, deep thoughts and all that stuff. I mean, it's what made them famous, per se. But I feel like with a song like Anger's Remorse, I'm just being retold this tale over and over again, and I'm like, okay, we've already been on this epic ride, and why are we just returning back? I mean, I don't know. But I mean, good on Poets of the Fall. Good for Marco and the boys for, sticking to their guns, I guess. But I mean, yeah, I like it, but it's just kind of meh. Next up, we have the 13.5-minute epic track, Herald of Darkness. This is the other song, like with Balance Slays the Demon, that also got a music video, and also Marco and the boys have played on several of their gigs, particularly when they're under the Old Gods of Asgard name. But, I mean, Yeah, Herald of Darkness is just a fantastic song. But I do feel like it is a little bit too long. It kind of reminds me of Knights of the 21st Century by Hammerfall, where the song itself is fantastic, but I feel like it's just a little bit too long. I feel like there's just a little bit of filler on this song, and that's not really necessarily a bad thing. It's just it just keeps me from enjoying the epicness, so to speak. But if you want more of my further thoughts on that, I talked about it when I was doing my Hammerfall ranking, and I got to chapter 5 on Bent and Battered and Broken, which is the album that Knights of the 21st Century is on. If you want more further thoughts on that, go check that out, because I feel the same way for Herald's of Darkness as I do with Knights of the 21st Century. So, yeah. Great song, just I think it's just a little bit too long. And then we got the next track, Take Control, and this is a really fun song, but much like with Anger's Remorse, I think it's another one of the weaker tracks on the album. It's a great song. It's very fun. Poets of the Fall are no strangers to making some really fun and bopping and rocking alternative rock jams, but they've done better in this formula, much like with Anger's Remorse in its respective categories. So, not really more I could say. Take Control is fun, but I just think they've done better. And then finally we get the Sea of Night, and this is another one of this is another really good closer by Marco and the boys. They're no strangers to making epic closing numbers. I mean, you got freaking Beyond the Horizon on the Ghostlight album, which is just epic from start to finish, and of course the aforementioned Where Do We Draw the Line from Revolution Roulette. The only time they fumbled that up was the infamous Happy song, which I'm not gonna bash that song any further. Holy crap! But I mean, yeah, the Sea of Night, a fantastic song, but again, they've made better closures over the years. So I mean, again, I just don't want to. I just don't really like getting that repetition. Like, can we see what we can do here to make this a little bit more engaging and more, I don't know, more of an epic closure? But I mean, what more can I say? I'm happy with what we got. All right, so in conclusion, I feel really comfortable giving this album a 9.5 out of 10. I'm giving it a 9.5 out of 10 because I feel like some of the weaker moments on this album kind of hold this album down a little bit, but overall, this album is just an epic ride from start to finish. It basically captures everything that we already love about Poets of the Fall and just put a big, fat word of epic on it. This is by far the most epic album that Marco and the boys have made. As far as I've been listening to them, and this includes all the main stuff that Poets of the Fall has done. And I actually think that this album is better than several albums from Poets of the Fall, like Ultraviolet, Clearview, and Jealous Gods. Basically, I think this is the best album that Marco and the boys have made since Twilight Theater. And yes, that even tops 2022's Ghostlight. And I mean, yeah, this could have easily been a power metal record. Like, I will always say this until the very end. If Marco Soristo had a much wider and broader range, like most big-name power metal vocalists do, this really could be like a progressive power metal album, so to speak. I really think it had that potential. But I mean, for what it's worth, Rebirth is still an incredibly epic album from start to finish. And if you proclaim yourself to be a Poets of the Fall fanboy or fangirl or whoever, I absolutely recommend that you check out this album and you check out the Old Gods of Asgard history as well as catalog. It's definitely a very interesting story. All right, so with that said, that concludes this edition of Magic Metal Mondays. Thank you so much for watching, my fellow YouTube divers. This is Water Dive 122 signing out, ready to dive into more fun on YouTube. Thanks for watching.